Hi, and welcome back. I'm Andrew, and this is Little Bible Bits, or as I said, today it's another Little Bible chunk. We're looking at Psalm 22 and the inner life of Jesus as it's expressed in this psalm. Yesterday we did verses 1 to 10 about finishing with Jesus in his infancy, relating back to his very early childhood and how he felt he was cast upon God from his mother's womb. That very close sense of a loving father-mother presence in his life from God. But in Psalm 11, a transition, he says, "Be not far from me, for trouble is near, and there's none to help. Now I'm in trouble, don't be far from me. Many bulls have surrounded me, strong bulls of Bashan have encircled me. They gape at me with their mouths like a raging and a roaring lion." These are wild bulls, wild animals. They're surrounding him. You've seen a bull tackle somebody. Very occasionally you see footage of actually a bull making that impact when they charge each other. And this impact on him, filled with the sins of man, suffering this terrible alienation and desperation like a worm on the end of a hook. And then, boom, this tremendous strikes coming out of the realm of darkness to destroy him, to try and crush him. They gape at me with their mouths like a raging and a roaring lion. He's looking out into the spirit realm. I'm poured out like water and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is just like wax. It's melted in the midst of me. The strength is dried up like a pot. Where's my power? My ability to overthrow Satan, cast out demons. My tongue cleaves to my jaws, and you brought me to the dust of death. For dogs have surrounded me, and the congregation of the wicked has enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. He's in desperate suffering. The physical's bad enough. There he is, struggling for breath, pushing himself up on his feet so that he could stay alive. Eventually he would suffocate. Only he dismissed his spirit. But that would be the way that you would die on the cross eventually if they didn't break your legs and then you couldn't support yourself. In Jesus' case, that wasn't what killed him. As he's bearing sin, he's under immense attack from the spirit realm. And his body is completely disjointed. He's totally vulnerable. And then he says, dogs are surrounding me, a pack of wild dogs tearing at somebody, tearing their body to shreds. The congregation of the wicked has enclosed me. Look, they pierced my hands. They pierced my feet. I can count every one of my bones just getting dislocated, standing out. And they look and stare at me. They divide my clothes amongst them, and they're casting dice to see who gets the best bit. Amazing prophecy of what was actually going to happen. What was actually happening there on the cross, pre-living that. But you, Lord, back to the childhood, don't be far from me. My strength, hasten to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my darling, my precious life. From the power of the dog, don't let me be covered and dragged in the filth and torn to shreds to nothing, humiliated and defiled. Save me from the lion's mouth. And then here it comes. You've heard me. From the horns of the wild oxen, you've answered me. I picture a bull will get something on its horns and throw it in the air, and maybe another one could catch it. And while he's there in mid-flight, torn deeply and beaten and completely helpless, God prayer, and he grabs hold of hope, and he turns what's a desperate defeat into victory. If you want the victory, you'll have to come back for your Bible chunk. Next clip. Thanks for going with me on this journey. I believe there's something really in for us who want to know Jesus, what sort of a person he is and what sort of a person God is. There's insight here for us. It wasn't the physical pain that Jesus suffered that was the primary suffering of the cross. It was bearing the sins of humankind in his body on the cross, and then being totally vulnerable to all the enemies of God, all the wickedness that underlies the world. And yet he triumphed over it. And he found a way to show us how to do that, to take you by the hand in the midst of your trauma. And any person that puts their trust in him, he'll be there for you. He'll be there with you. He'll be there with you. Wherever you are right now, he's with you. He's with you in the darkest and the brightest. And he's with you right now. So the Lord bless you, and talk to you again soon.